South Africa, as the country's famous game reserve is losing its attraction due to the low visit of international visitors. Tourism visiting South Africa usually show interest of going to reserve area, but as the number of new infections continue to rise in the country, limiting the movement of people, the trend is likely to change. Details in this report.
South Africa's Big Five is a top international tourism drawcard, and some visitors are willing to spend big to see them. They usually head to luxury private game reserves such as Shamwari, where private tailor-made tours can go for thousands of dollars a day. That was, though, until COVID-19 hit the country. The reserve's international business has grinded to a halt, and they've had to cut more than half of their staff.
Unfortunately, because the second wave has not just hit South Africa, but has also hit a lot of our key international markets. We started seeing some bookings coming through for the first quarter of this year from the international markets, the US and the UK, only to have all of that business cancel in the first 2 weeks of January and late December. Obviously, because the second wave has also hit those countries.
Now the reserve is relying solely on the domestic market to survive. They have altered their rates to make it more affordable to more South Africans. Like many other game reserves, they also had to rein in their costs and re-examine their business model to focus on the long run.
We've had to be innovative. We've had to reinvent the way we operate. We've had to find efficiencies, and that'll all hold us in good stead in the long run. It'll help us survive until that international business comes back. But I think gone are the days where a business model will rest solely on capturing the international market. I think if they're businesses, and if we're one of them, then I think we've learned, we've counted the cost of that arrogance, and we won't repeat that mistake.
With so many staff reductions and reduced salaries, the broader economic fallout of the pandemic goes far beyond the fences of game reserves.
Biggest impact, in our view, is going to be, it has been a reduction in the payroll, and therefore it has been a reduction in communities of people who are highly dependent upon the income that these private game reserves generate. If you can imagine, the private game reserves are located remotely. They're in areas where there's very little other economy other than the tourism income.
There is some optimism, though, that global efforts to roll out COVID-19 vaccines will soon start to stimulate the tourism industry. The sector in South Africa is expected to mark a recovery in the third quarter of this year. Wide, natural and open environments that game reserves offer lends itself to a new normal, where social distancing has become a reality. Private game lodges believe they have that in abundance, as well as a proven tourism product that will eventually recover in the long run.